Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all fine. Alhamdulillah. So, dear students, welcome you all in PIST Virtual Learning System session 2020. Dear students, this lecture is for grade first year, subject computer science, and chapter number 5. This is our 30th video lecture. Dear students, today we are going to start circuit switching, packet switching, IP addressing scheme, IP classes, subnet mask, circuit switching. So what is circuit switching? Circuit switching is a technique that directly connects the sender and the receiver in an unbroken path. Telephone switching, equipped for example, establishes a path that connects the caller's telephone to the receiver's telephone by making a physical connection. With this type of switching technique, once a connection is established, a dedicated path exists between both ends until the connection is terminated. Routing decision must be made when the circuit is first established, but there are no decision made after that time. So circuit switching basically is a technique that is directly used and connects sender and receiver. So if we use hub and router, so with the help of hub and router, we can use circuit switching. It means to switch over the data. So in circuit switching, the device takes information or data or packet from source computer and then switch over to destination computer without unbreakable path. So routing decision must be made when the circuit is first established. So they can choose the best route and the best path for data communication. Which path is more suitable and more reliable for data communication. And the type of switching technique, once a connection is established, a dedicated path exists between both ends until the connection is ended. On the screen here you can view a diagram. So this computer wants to send the data to this computer. So with the help of switching technique, it can pass information and data directly to this computer. So this is called circuit switching. A telephone switching equipment is used, for example, establish a path to connect the caller's telephone to receiver telephone by making a physical connection. Okay, and there is unbroken path between sender and receiver for the communication. When a subscriber makes a telephone call, the dialer number is used to set switches in the exchanges along the route of call, so that there is a continuous circuit from the originating caller to that of the called party. Because of the switching operation used to establish the circuit, the telephone system is called a circuit switched network. If the telephones are replaced with modems, then the switched circuit is able to carry computer data. So telephone switch and the telephone call is an example of circuit switching. We can replace the telephone set with the modem. If we will replace telephone set with modem, so it can work and carry computer data. It can carry computer data. So circuit switching basically is a technique that directly connects the sender and the receiver in an unbroken path. Telephone switching equipment, for example, establish a telephone by making a physical connection. With this type of switching technique, once a connection is established, a dedicated path exists between both ends until the connection is terminated. Routing decisions must be made when the circuit is first established, but there are no decision made after that time. So best path can be choose with the help of switching method. So unbreakable path can be followed in circuit switching. So here there is a practical example of circuit switching. You can view host computer A suppose sent to the host 2. So how your data and packet uh, transfer from one node to any other node in unbreakable path. It can choose a different path and then reassemble the data again before sending to the host 2. So circuit switching network, in circuit switching network, a physical connection must be established through the network. The data is transmitted through several switches. When transmitting data over a circuit switch network, a connection is established and keep open for the duration of communication. The circuit switching networks require dedicated point-to-point connection between the host and destination computer. No other network traffic can be used to communication line. It provides a fixed data rate for both transmission and reception. And the example of circuit switching network is a telephone call. So this is the best example of your circuit switching, where we can send and receive data between the source and destination computer. The next is packet switching. Packet switching refers to protocols in which messages are broken up to into small packets before they are sent. Each packet is transmitted individually across the network. The packet may even follow different routes to the destinations depend on the type of packet switching. Each packet has header information in which enable to route the packet to its destination. At the destination, the packet are reassembled into the original message. Here the previous diagram, here you can also view, this is a packet switching diagram. The packet is broken into the smaller part and then reassembled into the complete packet at the destination computer. So in packet switching, you can view uh, reassemble into original message. So here packet switching network transfer packets between user transmission line, packet switching routers. Origin in message switching, two modes of operation can be used, connectionless and virtual circuit. Then to improve the efficiency of transferring information over a shared communication line, messages are divided into fixed size numbers packets. Network devices called routers are used to direct packets between the network. Here we have sent message, which is broken into packet 1, 2, and 3. Messages divided into packets. Then packets are sent over the internet by the most expanded route. It will choose the route and then packet will send, and then they will receive the message. Packets are reordered and then reassembled on the receiving computer. Then they can view the actual message and the packet. In a packet-based network, the message gets broken into small data packets. These packets are sent out from the computer and they travel around the network seeking out the most efficient route to travel as circuit become available. This does not necessarily mean that they seek out the shortest route. Each packet may go a different route from the others. So here is a packet switching example. So each packet can choose the different route for the communication. And in packet switching network, no physical connection is established between the between these two source and destination computers. Like circuit switching network, all the data that is to be transmitted is broken down into small blocks called packet. These packets include both the source and destination addresses. They are passed by the source computer to its local packet switching exchange. On receiving computer and receiving of each packet, the PSI, the packet switching exchange, first stores the packet and then inspect the destination address it contains. Each PSI contains a routing directly specifying the outgoing links transmission path to be used for each network address. The PSE forward the packet on the appropriate link. When received packet are reassembled in the proper sequence to make up the message. So this is a packet switching network. There is no physical connection. Like in a circuit switching network, a physical connection must be established, but in packet switching, there is no physical connection. Your data is broken down into small packets and they can choose the different route and then reassemble all the packets on receiving computers. Circuit switching and packet switching. Differentiate and comparison between these two. Circuit switching must set up a connection initially delay. In packet switching, very small setup delay. In circuit switching, resources are dedicated, therefore they may be used inefficiently. And in packet switching, efficient shared use of resources and possible congestion and consequent packets dropping. But in circuit switching, performance is predictable as the resources are reserved. And in packet switching, performance is unpredictable and is a function of current traffic condition. So here you can view on your screen circuit switched network and packet switched network. In circuit switched network, the example is telephone call. Telephone call is the example of circuit switched network, and in a packet switched network, your data is broken down into small packets and it can follow different routes. And in circuit switched network, a dedicated connection is established between the sender and the receiver, and connection established, maintained, and when the communication finished, it can terminate it. In circuit switching and packet switching network, circuit switching, physical path between source and destination. There is a physical path between source and destination, but in packet switching, no physical path. In circuit switching, all packets use same path. In packet switching, packets travel independently. And in circuit switching, reserve the entire bandwidth in advance, and in packet switching does not reserve. In circuit switching, bandwidth wastage, and in packet switching, no bandwidth wastage. So bandwidth means how much data can travel at one time. That is the amount of data is called bandwidth. Then in circuit switching, no store and forward transmission. In packet switching, supports store and forward transmission. Dear students, next topic is IP addressing scheme, IP Internet Protocol. IP design an address scheme for an internet network and assign ranges for host, network devices, and the router information. Define the addressing block scheme to support summarization, document location, VLAN or network type, and number of hosts and network. Plan the entire addressing scheme in advance, allow for significant growth, support the physical layout, routing, and security. So basically, all computers in a network must have a unique IP address to communicate with each other. IP addresses have two parts. The first part identifies the network on which the computer are connected, and the second part identifies the computer on the given network, the host name. So IP address is a unique address. It is a 32-bit address. Every computer, whenever wants to connect over an internet or a WAN, they must assign a unique address, and that is the IP address, which is 32-bit address. And each device on a network have this unique address, and with the help of this IP address, you can send and receive your data. So IP addressing scheme, all the computers in a network must have a unique IP address to communicate with each other. IP addresses have two parts. The first part identifies the network to which the computers are connected, and the second part identifies the computer on the given network. So here you can view on your screen the network number and the computer number. There are two parts of your IP address. The first part indicates on which network you are connected, and the second part indicates what is the computer number. What is your computer or your device number? All the computers on a given network share the same network number but must have a unique computer number. Similarly, any two computers on different networks must have different network number but may have the same computer number. It means that On one network number, on a one network, there should be computer number. All computer numbers should be changed. The one computer, computer 2, 3, 4, like this. And on different network number, so your computer number on different network number can be same. So you can differentiate between similar two computers on different network must have different network number but may have the same computer number. So an IP address is made up of a 32 bits. The 32 bits are broken down into 4 octets. One octet is equal to 8 bits. Each octet is converted to decimal and separated by a dot. Therefore, an IP address is expressed in dotted decimal format. For example, you can view in the diagram, there is a class B internet address that is expressed in dotted decimal notation. So dear students, your IP address is classified in 32 bits, and 32 bits are broken down into 4 octets, and one octet is equal to 8 bits. 8 bits means that here we have 8 bits in one part. 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. So 1 octet is equal to 1 byte. This is 32 bits address. 32 bits address means that it is 4 byte address. We have 4 byte address. And when we will convert into the bits, so these are 8 bits. Here we can view 1 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So all these are total 8 bits. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it means we have 8 bits, 1 byte data, and we can separate with the help of this dot. After this dot, we have then next octet. These are also 8 bits. Then dot, then we have 8 bits. Then dot, and we have 8 bits. So total we have 32 bits. 32 bits address, and if you want to calculate into byte, so 8 bits, 1 byte. 1 byte here, 1 byte here, 1 byte here. So we have 4 byte in this IP address separated by dot. So this notation is called dotted decimal format. This is called dotted decimal notation. This is the binary number. Here we can replace with the help of your decimal number. Here 1001 0001 is equal to 145. Here we have 10. Here we have 3 4, and this is 3. So 145.10.334.3. This is one IP address. This is class B IP address which we have and which we translated from this binary number here 145.10.34.3. So this is your class B IP address. 32 bits address we have. Here we can view a diagram. Here we have a network address. This is host, and this is 32 bits address. IP address are 32 bits. Where the network part ends, the host part begins, and the host part begins depends on the subnet mask. Okay, in the coming slides we will discuss what is the subnet mask. And here you can view this is 32 bits, and we can separate these 32 bits into 8 bits and separated by the dot. This is a graphical representation of one IP address. So here we have the continuous 32 bits. We can separate and divide into 4 8-bit section. These are called octets, and this is 8 bits. This is second 8 bits, then third 8 bits, and the fourth 8 bits. Then convert from binary to decimal. So when you will convert this binary number, so you will get 131, here 108, here 122, here 204. This is a conversion from binary to decimal. When you will convert it, so you will get this IP address. So this is one IP address, one more IP address, 131.108.122.204. This is another IP address which we can follow on a network or on internet. IP addresses classes. So dear students, your IP address is classified in classes. We have three main classes, but two more are in under process. So class A, first of all, we have class A, and in the class A address, the range is 1.0.0 to 126.255, 255, and 255. So every time whenever you have the range of class A and whenever you have a IP address from 1 to 126, inside the 1 to 126, the first the first part indicates the class address. This indicates it's your class A address, the first part. If you have a IP address 126 and 122, it means that this address belongs to class A address, class A IP address. If you have 92.2.0 something like this, it means that it is between 1 to 126, 0 to 127, or 0 to 1 to 126. So it means that it belongs to class A address. So dear students, remember that a class A address 127.0.0 to 127.255.255.255 cannot be used, and it is reserved for loopback testing. We cannot use this IP address. This is used for sometime network testing and loopback testing and check the connection. So here 255 indicates that it means that your maximum values are the maximum network and host which you can make is 255. From 0 to 255 networks and host you can make here in this class. Then we have a class B address. Class B address starts from 128.0.0 to 191. So here we can view 128 to 191. If the IP address is between this range, it means that this is a class B address. Suppose if we have 148, suppose we have 148, it means it's a class B address. If we have 90, 92, 91 address, it means it belongs to class A address. Here we have a class B address. In class A address, the subnet mask and the network ID is 1. Okay, 8 octets are used as a network ID, and the subnet mask is 255. In class B, the subnet mask is 255.255. Here, 2 octets are reserved for network. Then we have class C address. In class C address, we have 192 to 223. Here you can view 192 to 223. So if address belongs to this range, it means that it is class C address. So if you have 192 and here the maximum range, remember that students, everywhere the maximum range is 0 to 55. The host in the computer range is 0 to 255. Every time you have maximum 255 computers and network, you can make 255. Then class D, 224 to 239, and reserved for multicasting. This is reserved for the multicasting. And then we have 240 to 254 or sometime 255, and this is experimental. This class is reserved for experimental basis. Okay, so basically we have three classes which we are using. D and E are reserved for multicasting and experimental basis, and each address and each IP address belongs to a class A, B, and C address. IP address classes, basically the 32-bit IP address is divided into 5 subclasses. These are class A, B, C, D, E, as we discussed. Each of these classes has a valid range of IP addresses. Class D and E are reserved for multicast and experimental purpose, respectively. The order of bits in the first octet determine the class of IP address. IP version 4 address is divided into two parts, network ID and host ID. The class of IP address is used to determine the bit used for network ID and host ID and the number of total networks and hosts possible in that particular class. Each IP or network administration assign IP addresses to each device that connected to its network. So here you can again view class A, B, C, D, E. Here we have 1 byte and 8 bits for network ID. Here we have 2 byte for the network ID. Here we have 3 byte and this is multicast and this is reserved for. Each IP address is split into two parts, network ID and host ID, to identify the host and the network to which the host is connected. The network ID, network address or prefix identifies the network to which the host belongs. The number of bits dedicated to the network ID will determine the number of possible networks. The host ID identifies the particular host network interface for multi-homed host. The number of bits dedicated to the host ID will be determined the possible number of hosts on the network. So it can determine the number of hosts and the number of network, how many networks you can make on a specific class. So here we have a class A address. So class A address start with 0 as the most significant bit and the next 7 bits identify the network number. Next bits identify the network number. The remaining 24 bits are used to identify a computer number. Therefore, with class A, there can be 224 computers. So the lowest value is 0 and the highest is 224. Maximum number of computers which we can attach is 255. Its range is 255. Then we have class B address. In class B address, we have start with 10 as the most significant bit and the next 14 bits identify the network number. The remaining most 16 bits are used to identify more than 65,000 computers. Then we have class C address. Class C address start with the 110 as the most significant bits and the next 21 bits identify the network number. The remaining 8 rightmost bits identify the 256 computer on each 221 possible network. Class C address are usually used by the small companies. It is important to note that the bits that identify the network class are also part of network number. So here we have a one network and the number of hosts and the computer numbers are more. Here we have a 2 network number and here we have a 2 computer number. And in the class C, we have a 3 network and a 1 computer number on this network. So these 3 are the basic classes of your IP addressing. Class A address starts with 0, class B address start with 10, and class C address start with 110. So class C address basically is more suitable for the small organization and the small companies, and it is important to note that the bits can identify the network classes as a part of network number. Dear students, inshallah, in next lecture, we will continue subnet mask. And till then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.